Well, welcome to the station of decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neal, and I'm joined by writer-director Matthew Berg. Good to have you here.
Hi.
And producer Rocky Ramsey.
So guys.
Hello. And their movie Accomplice is playing at Shriekfest coming up. So that's very cool. Very exciting. Are you both going to be there?
I will be there.
I'm going to do my best. I fly in that evening, so I'm going to try to at least stop by for a bit.
Yeah. Have either of you seen Accomplice with a cast, with an audience yet?
We have. So I saw it. Actually, I did. I got to see it at Film Quest. It played with an audience, but Film Quest is very much a filmmakers festival. Shriekfest is, I think there's a lot more attendees from outside the industry, so it'll be really interesting to see how it plays in front of a general audience.
Oh, yeah.
It's Sunday, October 3rd at 2 p.m.
Oh, nice. It's the day before my mother's birthday.
Happy birthday to your mom.
Yes. So who did the effects? Because it's really good effects in Accomplice.
It was Nick.
Roney?
Yeah, it was what?
Nick Roney?
Yeah, Nick Roney.
It was a bit ago. I had effects on a couple of my other projects, but I'm pretty sure this was Nick.
Yeah, it was Nick Roney who did it. I did another project in between who someone else did the effects for it as well. So I was getting confused between them.
Yeah, no problem. I understand.
Yeah, but no, yeah, he was awesome too. And obviously creating a high concept sci-fi film with a short film budget is always tough, and he really did us a solid with that one.
Oh yeah.
Now, had you two worked together before?
No, we hadn't.
This first gig.
This was our first thing together. Rocky,
I'd love to do it again. We'll do it again, man.
We will do it again. Rocky was we met when I was 17, my senior year of high school. And
Yeah.
Rocky's like, I'm here to raise your standard. We're doing your first professional short. And I was like, do it.
We met at Catalina Film Festival. My film was screening there. It was called Miscreant. And he was there, and we were there super early, and not a lot of it. They were like just getting set up and stuff. And we didn't know what theater we were that's for the horror screenings.
Yeah. The West Craven block.
Asked, and then what's your name? What's up? Nice to meet you. And that was kind of.
You're forgetting how we met. It was your ring had the same symbol that I have tattooed on my back, and I was like, hey, I have that tattoo, and you were like, what, this? I'm like, yeah. You're like, why? and that's how we became good friends. And then
why? I love that question.
And then I
get an answer to the question. Yeah.
Then I hit you up to just like catch up at the Rainbow Bar and Grill after the festival. And
then we talked about the movie.
Yeah, and then I was trying to get your advice, and then like all of a sudden Civil War by Guns N' Roses came on. We both just started just belting it out.
Yeah.
And we need to work together.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah. He was talking about how he had a budget, wanted to make this movie, and I was like, all right, we're gonna go through some drafts in the scripts, and we did, and he addressed all notes, super diligent, worked really fast, and I brought on my crew and my good friends, and that was it. It was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I always tell everyone, that's a big part of going to the festivals, though. You meet people that you can potentially, work with.
Yeah.
It's also great to see movies. And there's, for me, there's all kinds of pluses about going to the festivals. Mm-hmm. What was the symbol, by the way, on the ring and the tattoo?
And I.
Well, no, it was the Eye of Providence. So which is like it's a Freemason symbol, right, Rocky?
Mm-hmm.
And so, I have it, mine's like my eyes closed on my back. And then under it, instead of, the Latin, you see like the $1 bill, it's Simon and Garfunkel lyrics saying to the neon God made. Uh-huh. And it's kind of like my own, like, I don't want to get too into it, but it's a little bit my own, like, sense of individuality. Like I'm the only one who watches my own back. Like there's no one else watching out for me.
For me, it was just my grandpa's ring.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe one of you guys were Freemasons. I live by a Freemason lodge. So, I'm not a member, but yeah.
Yeah, it was my grandpa's ring. So I actually learned what it was later when getting asked. I was like, this is sentimental value. It was passed down. I was like, I'm rocking this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So, well, I didn't expect you to be so young, and I say that because Accomplice, I would think, would be written by someone older who had more life experience, and that's not a knock or anything. So I just wonder where the idea for it came from.
So I actually wrote a couple years before I shot it. So I wrote the first script, the first draft of it when I was a sophomore in high school. At first I always thought it'd be a cool idea. Like, let's make it'd be really interesting to see what would someone do in a situation if they had to experience the memories of the person they killed. Like, how would that change their perspective on a murder? In this case, it's an accidental death, a car crash. And I had 2 shoulder surgeries a year apart from playing rugby. Great sport, highly recommend it. Just don't. Just
be careful.
So many times. Be a little bit cautious. When you're 125 pounds, don't go running shoulder first into 350-pound dude. But when you have surgery, you're like all doped up after, and there was like a moment I had where I just come out of surgery. I was on all these painkillers. I was still wearing off the anesthesia, and I started just talking to myself. And I can't remember what I said a couple things, and my mother was like, "You just said some really personal stuff that you shouldn't have said to the whole warm room of doctors." But it was really interesting because it was like I felt like in that moment I was like 2 different people, and I felt like I was talking with someone else who was like forcing me to admit things I had done wrong in the past. Obviously, way less dramatic things than in the movie, right. But it was like this weird moment where I was like confronting myself. It was a weird, trippy, Kafka-esque moment. And I remember then also later on, a couple months later, hearing about how Persona was inspired. His Persona, the Ingmar Bergman film, was inspired by Ingmar Bergman's time in the hospital dealing with vertigo. And basically feeling he was like this out of body experience where he felt like he was like 2 different people. And I was like, why? I'm like, he made that movie with, due to his experience with health issues. Like, screw it. I'm going to make my shoulder surgeries worth something. I want to make a movie about someone, forced to confront the darkest parts themselves right after coming out of surgery. And then, I went through multiple drafts, make it a little more coherent. There were some confusing drafts in there. I learned a lot trying to create a high concept, like trippy sci-fi film that would only last 12 minutes. It was a lot to pack in there. But then also too, this didn't really inspire the story, but while I was trying to get this film funded, because it took me like 4 years to get not 4 years, 2 years to get all the money. I got diagnosed with this really rare condition called a status migraine, which is a migraine that won't go away. And so I basically had like flashing lights, severe nausea, vertigo, insomnia, severe throbbing pain in my head for months on end. I mean, imagine being hungover and never getting out of it. And it lasted for about 6 months. And a lot of the way I rewrote the script and the way I shot the film was really inspired by that. I kept telling DP, I'm like, migraine. He's like, what does that mean? I'm like, brighter lights, flashing lights, like the scene in the bathroom. Let's go handheld. Let's make the audience feel like we have vertigo. We're gonna go, we're gonna move around with the camera. We're not gonna keep it on sticks. I want this to feel very chaotic, same way it felt in my head. And it was really interesting when we had an audition. One of the actors said the thing he related to most in the script is reminded him when he was a kid of the terrible migraines he would get and how he was just screaming, get it out, get it out, get it out. Cause that's what it feels like. You just weight in your head and it's like, and get it the hell out. And so that really shaped a lot of the direction of the film, even though thematically it didn't really have that much to do with it.
But I think that's a good story though, that you took a, terrible experience and at least, something good came out of it.
Yeah. I try to do that with, with everything. Every time I ever there's one of my favorite books is Man's Search for Meaning, which is a Viktor Frankl book. It's about his time as a Jew in a concentration camp and how he had to find meaning in his suffering. And so the way he found meaning was that because of his experience, he was able to write a psychology book from a very unique perspective, analyzing both the inmates and the Nazi guards. And it ended up making him this world-renowned psychologist and author. And so that's how he found meaning in his experience during the Holocaust. And so whenever I have had any suffering in my life, I've tried to turn it into a story because it's just cathartic for me. And I feel like there was a purpose to that suffering I went through.
Wow. Well, I feel bad wishing you, future movies and stuff, because it might mean that you have to go through more suffering for these to happen. But I don't want to say it's I hope it's your last film or something, but no, but all kidding aside, that's very interesting. Rocky, now, did you say that did you say you had a film at the festival when you guys met?
So he didn't have one. I did.
You did. Right.
And he was just confused on which theater was screening what. Right. I didn't know where we were screening because, addresses it gets a little convoluted. He was like, what do you have here? I have this. And then the next day I brought one of my actors. He came with me, Bobby C. King, and we took the ferry. We got to Catalina, and then we went to the VIP area, and there was Matt. And then we chatted some more and everything. And then me and Bobby both didn't know he was young and in high school. We were talking to him like a normal guy,
right.
Just a grown man, right? And we were with one of the coordinators was there, and we were all kind of chatting, and the conversation was good. And then he goes, "I want to send you a script." I said, "Well, I'll be waiting by the phone," Yeah. And that was it. So that's kind of how this whole thing started. Yeah.
So Matt, you said you were in high school and stuff. Did you go to college to become a filmmaker, or is this more something you self-taught?
So actually something Rocky didn't mention is I didn't have a film playing there, but I had another student film playing on the festival circuit as well.
You did that year?
Yeah, it played in high school shorts block. So it played in the high school shorts block at Cinequest, which was really cool. It won at Idlewild. It played a few cool festivals in the student shorts blocks. But to answer your question, so we made Accomplice when I was we were planning to shoot when I was my senior year of high school. We ended up having to push the shoot, so we shot it the summer after my senior year of high school. And I'm technically enrolled in school right now, but I have not gone to a single semester in person because I keep having to take off semesters and defer just because I keep getting, so I did Accomplice, then I'm like, okay, time to go back to school. Then all of a sudden someone else came to me with a fully financed project. They were like, direct this for us. And then I was writing, directing that. And then that ended up getting me more opportunities. And that got me this gig working as an assistant producer on a Sony movie to get more experience being on a bigger set. So that's actually what I'm doing right now.
Not to talk you out of going to school or anything, but I would think, on set experience is probably more, it's probably a better education.
He's been doing that now, from what I know. You've been on set and doing some shadowing work and going from friend sets to other friend sets and stuff. That's what we've chatted about, which is super helpful.
Yeah. I've been trying to with COVID, it makes it very hard. It makes it very hard to get in the red zone right now. I was supposed to shadow a very big director before the pandemic happened. And he's one of my favorite directors in his prime right now. And I was super excited. I was very shocked he said yes. And then COVID happened and I haven't heard from him since. Yeah. I think his project got shut down, but it's unfortunate. But I got lucky for this Sony movie. They agreed to just make me the producer's assistant so they could still get me on as an essential person. So
that's pretty wild. Yeah. Something that stood out in Accomplice to me is the lighting. looks great, very professional, and I also like the different film for the memories. Was that shot on film or like Super 8?
Yeah, it was shot on Super 8, correct. And I actually even, going into it, I wanted the Super 8 camera because I wanted to have a different feel from, the present moments. And obviously it has that very much it has a much warmer tone to it as well. Digital, obviously, most things are shot on digital. It makes it way easier to get great performances out of people because you can do take after take and you don't have to worry about running out of film. But at the end of the day, film is a much warmer medium. Digital, there is a certain, when I think of something digital, I think there's more of a cold tone to it, which I thought really fit the present day well. But for the past, I wanted these really warm, familial, tones, not only, in the colors and the lighting, but also just in, the grain. And I wanted to feel like, we were watching, this could be like my family's home videos type of feel to it. And I didn't even realize like how amazing Super 8 looks when you get it professionally colored. It
totally worked in the film, I thought.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And my favorite scene in the entire movie was one of the Super 8 moments, was when he was, talking to his son about where his grandfather went when he died.
Rocky, what's your background in film? How did you get involved? Not just in Accomplice, but in filmmaking in general.
So I went to USC for film. I was in the production school, and that was that. I started doing stunts, a lot of driving and motocross and skydive shit. I got hurt a whole bunch, and
something you guys share.
Yeah, I did a lot of that. Basically, anything to scare mom. You know what I mean? So, that kind of got me. After I got hurt, tore my ACL and just about every other ligament in my knee. Didn't get a concussion that time, which was rad. That was in a motocross accident, and decided, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. I can't. This sucks. Constantly on the couch, watching everyone do their thing. And I had a bunch of scripts written, and I said, you know what? I'm moving to LA, and I'm going to direct this picture. And I did, and I did well. And that's when, that's actually one of the festivals is where Matt and I met.
Mm-hmm. What was the film, by the way, that you directed?
It was called Miscreant.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that. I'm sorry. Is that available now anywhere? Like, can people watch it?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Actually, the script was at Shriekfest. It wasn't quite finished being made yet when we submitted, I'm pretty sure, but we're still in the editing process. But the script got submitted to Shriekfest that year.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
And I also saw Mark, your other film, Marked. I saw Marked, but yeah, it was. I love Marked. It was great.
Thank you. No, Marked was, I kind of, I love Accomplice, but I took everything I felt that was wrong with Accomplice.
Matt, I'm sorry. I just called you Mark, but go on.
Oh, no, no worries. And everything I felt was, I love Accomplice, but everything I felt I did poorly on that, or I took everything I learned, my experience being on set, everything I learned from things I didn't like with the finished product, and my goal was to improve all of that with doing Marked. And also I wanted to do a film where, because Accomplice, there's a lot of producing, right? I mean, Rocky dealt with it like a champ, but it was, because we were literally, Rocky more than I was, we were literally climbing through barbed wire. I mean that literally to hang the Fernie pads. And it was multiple locations.
Budget for extra crew to do those builds. So,
and we were, I was, rewriting in my head while we were shooting, so we just didn't have Rocky was like, we don't have time to shoot this much, and I'm just like, no, and then I was like, we don't. And so it was definitely a learning experience. So my next film, I am making a room with just two people talking in a room in the most Matthew way I know how, where it is the most goes to insane lengths with two people just talking in a room. But I love that new one. And I actually just got today, it's going to be upside down on the camera. Obviously it's about Russian tattoos. Mm-hmm. And so I got the title in Russian.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
The tattoo artist who did all our tattooing in the movie tattooed it for me today to commemorate our experience working on it a year later.
Yeah. go on, sorry.
Right when Matt turned 18, he got tossed into the Lions. Basically, that was really how it went for. Stop calling me. That's basically how it went for Accomplice.
It was a weird experience. My key PA was 40, and I was 18, and I was just like, I've never told an adult what to do. I mean, like I've talked with actors before. I've told actors what to do.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I didn't think about that. Being a young guy and you're directing, adults, and then in Mark, you're directing Eric Roberts, who's a veteran actor. Is that a weird experience?
So, I've always had a special relationship with actors. That's never been a weird experience with me. I've always been a very sensitive kid, and I've always been someone, able to really talk about emotions. And when I say talk about emotions, I don't mean result-oriented direction. I don't mean play it sad. That's not what I'm saying. But I mean to really dig into, what is going on in the character, what they want, and try and almost like a psychologist, coax out what's really going on in their heads and what's really going on in their life and really going on in that scene. That's never really been intimidating to me at all from the time I was a little kid. But working with, crew members who, they know how to do all the technical things better than you do. And you having to understand that
hope so.
you have to understand at the end of the day that you still have to be their boss, and you still have to, in the most respectful way possible, still, hold yourself in a way you can still command respect and people will still respect you on set. That was, there was a 2-day learning curve on that where I wasn't, the first 2 days, I felt like an intern on my own set, for the first 2 days, everything with the actors was going super well. When I was talking to crew members, I was asking them too many questions about how do they do this? How do you do that? And I eventually I had to get out of that intern mode and really be like, okay, I'm the director, I'm the boss, I'm the captain on set. I let the producer tell me what to do, and everyone else has to, it should just be questions to me that I'm answering. It should be the other way around. Yeah. But so yeah, it was definitely a learning experience, and everything I felt weird about in that situation on Accomplice, I did not have that issue at all with Marked. Now a bunch of those crew members are some of my best friends, like Powell Robinson, who DP'd both Marked and Accomplice.
Yeah.
Cool. So Marked, is that playing anywhere, or is it too new?
Yeah, so it's just starting to go on its festival run. It played at LA Shorts, but coming up, it's playing at Beyond Fest in LA, which is an awesome festival. It's the most attended genre festival in the US, I believe. So it's playing there either October 9th or October 10th. They haven't told us yet. It's playing at Chicago Film Festival. I was super excited to get in there. That's a sick one. It's playing at Mill Valley the same day that Dune is playing there, that Denis is presenting. So I'm super excited to be able to go from my film straight to Dune, which is also an official election. It's so interesting to watch their festival trailer because it's your normal drama and art house, independent cinema, and all of a sudden it's just spaceships and fighting because all the little inserts from Dune in the festival trailer. Right. And then it's going back to Film Quest, which is if you have a chance to submit to Film Quest, please do. I beg of you. It's such an amazing festival. I made 5 lifelong friends there in one weekend. It's great. I can't recommend it more than enough. It's a great festival. And it's playing at Cinefest Sudbury in Canada coming up as well. It was a semi-finalist at Rhode Island. So
it's near me. I'm in Massachusetts. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it's actually playing at Scene Film Festival there.
Are you?
Yeah.
What? Nice, man. What time is it over there?
It's almost 11.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Wow. Night owl. There you go.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, we're staying up late for the interviews. That's cool. I got one after this that's in Australia, and it was 14 hours ahead the next day. And so, yeah, it's weird, but that's very cool. And where can you guys where can people follow you guys to see where your stuff's going to be playing and what you guys are up to?
For me, I mostly post on Instagram. So if you want to follow me, it's Matthew_A_Berg, like my name. Follow me there. Mark. Post what?
Not Mark. Yeah.
Not Mark. There is marked in my bio, for upcoming films, but no, Matthew.
Yeah, for Instagram, it's Rocky Ramsey 3, the number 3. And for YouTube, it's Roughneck Film Productions. That's my company. So,
yep. And are you a horror movie fan? You said, your film was in the horror block.
It was more thriller, crime thriller, but it's stuck in a lot of those.
That's a cool thing about the festivals is a lot of the stuff doesn't necessarily fit in any genre or fits in several genres. So.
Yeah, that actually my first one for Miscreant, it went to 60 festivals, and that's where I learned that. I was like, wow, all right, so it's not quite horror, but it's going into this horror program with like an alien like ripping out a Adam's apple. But like there was a lot of gore in that film block. My film was like right there, and it's not gory. Mm-hmm. So that was it was a cool experience to see how everything can get programmed, how everything can get structured and stuff. Yeah, it was nice.
How about yourself, Matthew? Are you a horror movie fan, or? If not, I'm not gonna hang up on.
No. I am. Not like Powell. Like our DP Powell is. He likes. He refuses to watch. He refused to watch Goodfellas, but instead.
No, that's actually my favorite movie.
Alien, right behind you.
But he'll put on like a. A horror. He'll love a horror movie that has like a 2 on IMDb. But no, I do like horror. For me, I like more character-driven horror films, and I'm gonna sound like such a poser right now, but I'm like, The Exorcist is my favorite horror film.
It's a great movie. It's hard to beat it. I think it's a perfect film. Great book too. I just read the book for the first time.
It's a great film. But I also the thing I like about horror too is that you can, a lot of times you can see yourself in the characters, and it's just exaggerated things that you've experienced. Like for example, Roommate Wanted, which is a film I was looking at that's coming up at Shriekfest. It's the final film playing for the awards ceremony. I'm super excited to see because, I had an awful roommate who did some creepy, weird stuff. And like, I'm excited to see exactly what they come up with because he left, a bottle of urine in my room. So that he hid for a week. So like, I really want to see how insane their stuff gets.
You're going to watch me like, this guy is a saint compared to my old roommate, Yeah, that's cool.
Knives in my underwear drawer, and the worst part was I've been best friends with him since middle school, so I wasn't by myself.
I thought you were going to say I've been best friends with him since then. I was like, well, that's kind of weird.
Our relationship, we have a love-hate relationship. He loves me and I hate him. No, I'm kidding.
That's not Rocky. You're not the roommate.
No.
Not just yet.
Don't scare me like that.
Well, very cool. Hope people check out Accomplice at Shriekfest and Mark the future things. And Rocky, are you working on anything coming out?
Yeah, I have some commercials that are going to be coming out. Can't talk about those too much. And a TV show that I'm working on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we're working on getting that one out to Hulu right now, and we'll see what sticks. So yeah.
That's very exciting.
Some fun projects.
Yeah.
We'll see. And, there's also Birdcage, which is the feature version of Miscreant, which is the short film that I did. And we're also working on that one to adapt and to actually finalize it and make it into a low budget feature.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Is that anything you'd be interested in Accomplice or to expand it? Yeah, I
think there's room, man. It can be done.
There's 100% room. If the right people came along, we would 100% do it.
You want to do it?
Yeah, if the right people came along, my pitch is, it's the guy realizes, but I think it would definitely be more of like a noir, like thriller-esque movie. I think we did as a feature. Like I was thinking like, opening scene, guy wakes up next to a dead body, doesn't remember how he got there, goes home, but he realizes the home he remembers is not his home. And then it takes until like 15 pages in before he realizes that the memories he has of the person he killed, not himself, not his own. And he has to figure out why he killed him using this guy's memories. Like something like that, I think would be a much more intriguing concept if we were to do it as a feature.
It's fucking twisted and I love it.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, this has been really cool to talk to both of you, and hopefully we can do it again sometime.
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you again for having us on the show. And
Hell yeah.
I appreciate being here.
Very cool. Yeah.
And remember, Comps is playing October 3rd at 2 p.m. at Shriekfest.
Awesome.